And that's how he lured me in. And in this way, he created this long-term relationship from the beginning. I'm going to send you to college.
And it was very confusing to me when I left the island and um, and went back to New York. I went back to my life. Everybody loved Jeffrey back then and spoke highly of him. So it was kind of a confusing thing to see all these powerful people that admired him.
Where did your story start and what has been your journey? Painful as it may be, it's important that people out there know what happened to you.
I was a young model in New York City, pursuing my career, very happy, taking acting classes and just like kind of like living my life. I actually was friends with Rina during that time. And I booked a really important job to the Caribbean to shoot a magazine cover and spread. And I was booked with another model. She was an Eastern European model, beautiful, young. We were both in our early 20s. And we had an extra day to just do whatever we wanted to do. And the other model said, I have a friend who owns an island nearby. And I let him know that we're here. And he said, that he'll send us a boat. We can hang out on the island for the day. And, I just trusted her and I said, okay, sure, I'll go with you. And she had told me that this man had helped her to get her visa to live and work in the United States. And so she admired him and looked up to him. So I just blindly trusted her. And I went over to the island and we spent the day there and, had a good time in the pool, met some other girls there and had a wonderful dinner. And that's when I met Epstein. And then later on that evening, I was asked to do a massage and, just kind of went along with it with the other girl. And it ended up turning into abuse that night, sexual abuse. So that was just shocking to me because I had spent hours talking to this man and found him very charming and sincere. And I think he just got me to trust him. And so I think that's just what you call the grooming process. I mean, at the time, I just had no idea what was happening. And it was very confusing to me when I left the island and went back to New York. I went back to my life. Everybody loved Jeffrey back then and spoke highly of him. So it was kind of a confusing thing to see all these powerful people that admired him. And then, so I knew him for a couple years after that. I mean, I didn't start seeing a lot of the red flags until a little bit later on when I started hearing things from other girls. And things weren't adding up after a while. And I never felt like I could say no to him because of the things he had helped me with. And I don't know, it's really hard to explain it. It would probably take a lot longer than right now. But I felt like in hindsight, looking back over it and speaking to many survivors, that he kept me in his world because I had seen a few things on the island and I witnessed a few things knowing him.
And he mentioned all the connections that he had. And I was really young and naive. I come from a culture, I'm Korean, and in the Korean culture, with like your elders, even if they're 5 years older or 10 years older, you usually don't argue and you don't say no. So I was already accustomed to not saying no. Like I just, shook my head and said yes to everything. And that's how he lured me in. And in this way, he created this long-term relationship from the beginning. I'm going to send you to college. That was a dream come true for me at the time. So here, he already established as a predator a 4-year relationship without me even knowing. in his mind, he was already planning this because, he's a serial predator and he was very strategic. And this is how I was lured in. And he almost kind of grabbed me right away. I didn't end up going to school for 4 years, and down the road, things unraveled, like Lisa said, and I was able to see the flaws. And when the college thing didn't work with me, when I tried to get away from him, he would bring something else into the picture and offer me something else. Well, I can get you a job. Now I'm going to give you a job. And they kept offering new things and getting me to come back